We're talking with Miss Diane Latiker from Kids on the Block. How you doing, Diane?
I'm fine. How are you, John?
I'm good. Just kind of busy and waiting for Thanksgiving, so I'll hopefully slow down a little bit. But I
Not.
really, I know, right? I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your time and wisdom with us. Um, First of all, what community would you say your organization is in, and who do you serve?
So West Pullman, Westchester, Rosemore, and Washington Heights.
For somebody who ain't from Chicago, what would that look like? Is that the
That's the
far
far
south?
south side of Chicago.
Okay. And the community, what is the population basically?
Um, Last time I checked, it was 44,000, but it was 50,000. People been leaving,
Uh,
getting away from Chicago, which is
yeah,
sad. You know,
yeah.
for a number of reasons, but the biggest reason is the violence.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And what position do you hold? And
I'm the founding president of Kids Off the Block.
okay. So what does that look like? I mean, that's a lot because you wear a lot of hats, and the
I,
work
I,
I know you do
I
so
think
much.
I'm way bypassed by hats. I mean, there are no more hats for me to have. It's doing this is everything. It's everything. It's like a teacher. That's why I admire teachers because you go in with one vision, that what you want to do, but
Mm,
when the people that you serve are very complex, they have a lot of issues, especially the young people we serve. And so without trying to, those hats just come into play because if you don't, you cannot serve them well.
mm,
You have to put on hats that you thought you couldn't even wear,
mm-hmm.
and you learn how to wear that hat because that's what it takes to serve the people that you want to help.
That's right. So how did you start? How did Kids Off the Block start?
Started with, we had a 13-year-old at home, my husband and I. The rest of the kids were grown and gone, and just looking forward to her graduating high school and going to college, and we'd be free, we thought. And that didn't happen, of course. She had 9 friends from the neighborhood, boys and girls 13 to 15 years old, and I would take them everywhere to keep up with her. And so my mom saw it and said, you should do something with them. They like and respect you. And I did not want to do it because I felt I would be free once she went to college and I could go fishing. That didn't happen, of course. I literally prayed about it for a couple of days and just invited her friends into my house to sit down and listen what was going on with them. And the funny thing is, I thought I knew these kids because they grew up with my daughter,
Mm,
but I had no idea what they were going through. They were 13 and 15 years old, and the gangs were recruiting the boys, and they were all failing in school. So that's
mm.
how it started. Next thing I know, I got kids at my door that I didn't know from the community. And in a span of almost 3 months, there were 75 kids in our apartment day and night. Homeless
Wow.
kids, kids who were trying to get out of gangs, kids who wanted to go back to school. It was just, I had no idea that the need was like that.
Wow. And so, but how did that, I mean, you got your apartment and, you have all these young people coming in. What was it about you and your husband that the people, that the kids felt safe enough to do this?
Because we opened the door and didn't shut it to any of them.
Mm,
We didn't care where they came from. There was no judgment. There was just, what do you need? How can we help? Not that we didn't tell them what they needed once they shared what their situation was. We wanted to know what they needed so
mm-hmm,
they could, so they could thrive and move forward and not get stagnated in the environment that they live in, because that's where they come from. And
mm,
I attributed to a higher power that they clung to us and wanted to be in our house, because it takes a lot for a kid to come to a stranger's house and say, can I come in? Will you help me? I don't know if people realize that, but uh, 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 um, a 15-year-old going to a stranger's house and saying, can you help me? You
Mm-hmm.
know, that takes a lot for a kid to do that. So, you know, if they knock on your door, they really want help.
Mm-hmm. And so what did that, I mean, you have a 15-year-old who knock on the door. How did you, what did you do? I mean, if they needed this help, did you reach out to other folk in community that you know that
Oh,
they
of
felt
course.
safe?
John, I was at every meeting. I was at every meeting I could find. I was reading, researching. I was doing everything I could to find out. I was meeting with the alderman every day till he got tired of me. I was going to I'm serious. And you know, he looked out the door and goes, that Diane Latiker out there again. I was doing everything I thought I needed to do to learn how to serve these young people.
Hmm.
And including listening to them. Because to me that was the key to building trust with them because they didn't trust anybody.
Hmm.
They didn't literally, they would come knock on your door, come in your house, and you would find out that they didn't trust you. They
Wow.
were coming because other kids told them that
Right.
you could help them.
Right.
And so I just wanted to build a relationship with them and find out how I could help them. And that took a lot. That took a lot of meetings, a lot of going places I had never been, coming out of my comfort zone at 46 years old, and wondering how I can help. And then I quit my job, you know, to help them. And I just dived in, you know.
Wow. That was brave. Huh? I mean, how did your husband feel about all that?
My husband
I said,
threatened to divorce me numerous of times between this. It's no secret.
yeah, I met him. He's a good man.
Oh, he is. Oh, he is. He is. He is.
Yeah.
He was
Well,
right about everything he was saying. I couldn't argue about it, but I couldn't stop either.
I know. I
Yeah.
know. So okay, you got all these kids and you got all these, you're going to all these meetings. When did you determine I need to have some sort of programs to support to at least, kids could fit in so I could, kind of regulate what I'm doing and so I ain't all over the place.
Well, I kept reading and I kept researching, and I found out that a nonprofit, to become a real nonprofit, I needed to do some things. I needed to structure myself. I needed to find out what other organizations were doing, what was working. And I knew the kids needed mentoring. I knew that. And I sold the family TV to get us some used computers so I could help with homework.
You did what now?
I sold our family TV, which is the first time my husband threatened to divorce me.
I was getting ready to
There were
say.
many more. And I bought used computers and printers and put them in our dining room so I could help them with homework.
Mm,
And John, I'm no scholar. I have no degrees or nothing, but that was a way for me to at least start to try to help some kind of way.
mm-hmm,
And I just read a lot. I knew I had to structure something. I had to get them involved, not just to come and sit. I had to get them involved with other things. And that mentoring program led to tutoring because I found out that they were reading at grades way below their level.
mm,
And and so that led to the tutoring. Then I found out that most of the kids wanted to rap at that time. So
mm-hmm.
we had a little small bedroom about the size of a closet. And I reached out to this producer and I begged for his old equipment so they could put it in there and make them some music so they'd have something to release with. And that's
Mm,
how that started.
wow.
Um, and then I created a drama program where they worked on plays. They wrote their own plays in my house and worked on their own music and plays. And it was, I'm telling you, that house was lit up. My husband, he had to get up and go to work every morning. Woo, he fussed at me. We were up all night most of the time. So, but it's the strangest thing, John. I had found my passion at 46 years old,
Mm.
and I was more excited about this than the kids were
Why do you think that was?
because that feeling of being needed, of helping children who believe in you. I had never felt, I mean, I had my own children. We have 8 children. But
Mm-hmm.
to have kids who you didn't know just believe that you can work things, you can do things, and they put their trust in you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was off on this euphoria, just gone.
Wow, wow. And then, well, can you share some? You talked a little bit about your programs, and I know that all of Chicago, we dealing with some turbulent times, especially around violence.
Oh yes.
So, talk to me about how your program deals with that in the community that you're in, and communities. You're in a multiple. You serve a lot of folks.
I deal with it in a way where, and the funny thing is, I don't understand why we don't get it as far as dealing with youth violence. Violence from a young person is a reaching out, is a acting out,
Hmm.
is a pay attention.
Hmm.
If you don't think I'm worth paying attention to, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you because I'm a shoot. The power's in the gun I have because you won't give me any power to be
Hmm.
anybody. And the way I deal with that is I confront the young people. I mean, I literally confront them with love and care and a little discipline too to let them know I'm here. I'm open to helping you whatever you need to do to take that other power away,
Hmm.
because that other power is only going to lead you two places. Well,
Hmm.
if you allow me to help you, I can open up opportunities where
Hmm.
you have multiple places and multiple resources to thrive and to be successful. And if they let me do that, that's the way I look at the violence. It's like we're afraid of those young people. And right, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be, because some of them are really dangerous. I'm not gonna lie.
Hmm.
But if we don't confront them, and if we don't open up to them, then we're gonna continue to have this. We've got to draw them in some kind of way
Hmm.
and away from that environment that's the only power they feel.
Hmm.
We've got to draw them away from that.
Hmm.
And if that takes me opening up my house, if that takes me buying a coat in the wintertime so he can keep going to school, if that takes me getting up out of my bed to go get him when he's got locked up the night before, and being able to talk to him and keeping his mind going, then that's what it takes. If it takes me feeding him, whatever it takes, so I can live in peace, so the people on my block can live in peace, so our communities can be at peace, if we just take time out to get in these young people's lives and stop letting them wander around and creating their own power in our
Hmm.
community.
Hmm. Hmm. You mentioned people on your block. How do they receive you and the house? All
Not
of them.
well.
Huh?
Not well. They were calling the police on me because it was kids coming at 1 in the morning. They would be sitting on the porch when I come out in the morning. They were calling the police, and they were, even 2 gang leaders came to my house and threatened me and my family next door, and had to have them arrested, and they shot up my van. And I mean, it was just the community at first. They were like, "What are you doing?"
Mm.
You
Mm.
got all these, because I done had 6 gangs sitting in my living room, literally. They were
Six gang from
6 gang
different.
members,
From
from
okay.
different gangs coming to my house, and because we created a safe space,
Mm-hmm.
for them, and they respected it.
Mm.
And so, and that's happened a couple of times where they came and they sat down, and we tried to broker peace, and I've served all of them, like helping with jobs, job training,
Mm.
helping in school, whatever they needed, whatever they needed.
How did you get? I mean, you mentioned people on the block. How is it now?
Oh, it's a whole different ball game right now.
How so?
Well, we've done so much to help the people on our block and in our community, until we're like a staple here.
Mm,
People tell me, you should move. You should get out of there. You know, it's too violent. Why are you still staying there? Well, why would I do that?
mm,
When people know we're here and know that we're helping, the young people know we're here.
right,
You know,
right.
why would I just pick up and now I've got their small brothers and sisters coming to me now.
Wow,
You know, they're being raised up. So
wow.
why would I just get up and just leave? But now it's a whole different ball game, John. Now they call us, Miss Diane. We don't have this. Miss Diane, can you help us with that? Miss Diane, we getting put out. Or Miss Diane, you know, and I can't do everything. I'm being honest. But what I can do, I've garnered so many relationships around the city till I
Hmm.
can reach out to help that family or those kids or like with COVID, we've been going around giving, taking care of the kids and their families that we serve because we can't do it physically now.
Mm,
And so we ride around. They need food, we'll take them food. They need mask sanitizer, whatever, we'll take it to them.
mm,
And that's how we keep this bond going, this thing going that we've created
hmm.
of of community because that's what it is, right? Community.
Has it been one thing? I mean, in the beginning, you had all these folks coming in and you feeling euphoria and people are listening. Has there been one story or one thing that kind of pushed you over the top and said, this is the work I need to be doing?
Oh yeah.
Maybe
One
it's,
of one of the young men who was with me in the very beginning, it was like I said, it was 9 of them, and 10 was my daughter, but one of them got shot 10 times,
oh,
and he lived. And but we thought we had lost him. One of the boys, we were out cleaning up the block, and I had about 20 young people out there with me. And another boy came running down the side street, and he was screaming my name, Miss Diane, Miss Diane. That time I got shot, Miss. And so we dropped all the brooms and stuff in the street. We ran up the side block to get to the school. And because that's where he got shot at in that lot right there. And while we were running, I'm thinking they saying he's bad. He's got shot 10 times. And
oh,
we
Jesus.
get there and they're putting him in the ambulance and he's not, it looks like he's gone. And it had been many days, John, where I said I was quitting. I couldn't do this. This is too much. Threatening my family and all that. I wake up, I quit. And then in 5 minutes, I'd be right back at it. But that day when that happened, I mean, my soul changed in my body because I couldn't fathom losing a young person. That was the
Mm,
first time that I had ever been involved in that. And then the next day, his cousin came in to my house and he walked through my front door because it was always open. And he said, Miss Diane, if this door wasn't open, I'd be dead or in jail.
wow.
And that right there, I didn't stop. It was over with. I could complain all I want, quit every day, but I knew I wasn't quitting.
Mm,
Those words stuck in my head.
mm,
If I close the door,
mhm,
there's a possibility of real life and death.
mm, mm. Wow. And when I think about this, not everybody can do what you do. You know, I mean, you're such an exceptional person in this world. But what can people do? What can people learn from the work that you're doing?
Well, I think we all can serve, all of us. And
Hmm.
I think that we have to start where we are. That's one thing I learned. I think if I knew what I know now, I might not have done it. I really do. I think it was good that God got me naive and green behind the ears and pushed me into it because if I had of known, I might not have done it.
Mm,
But I think that way about everybody. I think if there's an issue bothering you in your community or your neighborhood, you can do something about it right where you are. You
mm,
don't have to wait until you get papers, a building, $1 million. You can do something about it right then. Also, if you physically can't do anything, there are people and organizations who are already working on, because you're not the only one that has that issue. I found that out too. We weren't the only one who was trying to help young people and deal with that. There
mm,
were lots of people in my community who were trying to help. So if you can't do it yourself, reach out to those people or those organizations. Help them, volunteer with them. but do something. Do something. Don't sit back and be angry and mad and withdrawn and your doors are locked in, because it's not going to be solved like that. Whatever the issue is that you care about.
How did, to that end, how did you get people, I'm going to go back to your block, how did you get people to want to support you once they saw the block was changing and it ain't what they
Yeah.
thought? But is there, you know, I know that was like small steps, but how did you,
Right.
you know, like the next door neighbor, how did that work all of a sudden that he or she wanted to support you? And
You know that cliche where they say you build it and they'll come?
yeah,
That's what
yeah,
you have to do. Literally, that's what you have to do.
yeah.
We have had so many people move in next door to my mom, 2 doors down, who come in at first, and I'm not exaggerating here. They come in angry. They look at us like we're crazy because they see us doing stuff on the block, and then we just keep doing it in front of them. And then you look up and they standing there for food when we're serving food, or they're knocking on the door, Miss Diane, we need a mask, or so you just keep doing what you're doing. You don't try to force anybody. You just keep showing them there's a better way. And that's the way we have to do with young people. We have to keep showing them over and over. Because like I told somebody the other day, when you got a 14-year-old who's angry and who feels the gang is everything, you got to remember 14 years he's been in this thing, even from a child, a baby. And sometimes it's from his own family and it's generational. And that's all he knows. So you can't come in and say, oh yeah, but you need to change that. You need to do. No, 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 no. You got to show him, just like he was shown as he was growing up and he thought that was the right way. You got to take time to show him that's not the way. This is the way.
And I think it takes a certain amount of courage and for folk to come out of that themselves to be able to share like that too, though. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
uncomfortable. It is. I'm not going to say it's overwhelming. It's uncomfortable. It's all those things. And John, my husband and I were scared with the violence. We were scared. But me personally, I was more scared to stay in here and not do anything. That's the same way I feel about the virus. My husband and I are at risk. We're older adults, but we were scared in the house. And so that's why we got in our little raggedy van and started going around helping people with what we could. Because I refuse to just sit and not do anything that I'm complaining about.
And you feel that at the tender age of 46, you got something just sparked you to move on this road then.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I attribute it to a higher power because Diane Latiker would have been on a fishing bank, not caring about nobody. I would have.
So what would you say then, this in closing, but what would you say, and I think you've already answered that, people want to learn, from glean some of your wisdom. What do you think that we can do, particularly in people who are on blocks that are, violent or not knowing, the next steps or, or want to call the police at every turn, what can folk do?
The police know me so well because they know that I will call them, but they know that I very seldom call them. The kids know that I'll call them, but I very seldom call them. And the reason for that is because I'm going to give every inch of myself to whatever's going on before I get to that step. Okay. That's my last resort. I do not want young people interacting with police in negative situations. I just don't want that. So I try everything I can. First of all, this is our block. This is our community, just like it's that young person's. So instead of us being at odds with each other because we want the same thing, we want a beautiful block, we want a peaceful block. I haven't seen one young person who's ever told me they want to shoot up the block, tear up the block. They don't want that. They're scared. But if they join with others, their peers, and that's the only way they feel they got some power, they're going to do it because it's peer pressure. So, but if you got me on the block and a few of us others like me, and we're saying, young man, Miss Jones down there, she'll feed you. Miss Diane down there, she got a coat for you. Mr. Jones over there, he gonna help you learn a trade. You think that you honestly think us doing that, stepping outside of our comfort zone to that young man, that he's gonna take down that block? No, he's not. He's gonna protect it.
That's right.
Because he's got things coming out of it into him. So that, to me, that's what we have to do. We have to step outside of our comfort zone. And it's not easy by any means. But isn't it much harder to sit in your house and worry if somebody's going to break in your house or shoot your windows out, or, or you can't even sit on your front porch or walk to your car?
Right. Yeah, you're right. Well, do you have any questions?
No, I've actually enjoyed talking to you.
I told you it won't go be painful. I've been sitting there and all, right? But I do want to ask you though, and reading your book, I'm about halfway through it. And what inspired you to I'm gonna put it out there.
Thank you.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit about the book and what inspired you?
What inspired me about the book was I wanted to let people around the world know, if I can do it, if I can do anything, you definitely can do it. A mom of 8 kids, 46 years old, a GED, never done anything like this in my life. And I believed a power higher than myself, that this was what I was supposed to do, and I listened. And that's what the book is about. It's not so much about the struggles or even the victories. What it's about is, look, this happened and that happened. But look, it happened because you can do it just like I did. You can set your own world in doing and helping and serving because you want to anyway. Don't we all want to? We all want to. We all want to do something to help somebody. I really believe that. I really believe in our heart of hearts, humanity says that we all want to do something to help someone. And so that's what the book is. The book is saying, look at this woman over here on the south side of Chicago. Look where she come from. How is she doing all this stuff? That could be me. I can do the same thing or better. That's what the book is about, to inspire people to come out of their comfort zone, to go with what they have. Don't worry about what you don't have. Just help.
The book is called Kids Off the Block, the inspiring true story of one woman's quest to protect Chicago's most vulnerable youth. Diane Latiker.
Thank you, John, for buying the book.
Yes. And I co-sign it. I think is an incredible tool for people who want to do this work, and an incredible testimony of an incredible woman. Ms. Latiker, you are a gem, and I just, I can talk to you all day.
That's what I feel.
I was sitting here chopping it up. But I just feel privileged to talk to you like this, and thank you for your time. But also, I apologize because I know we've been going back and forth, and you're in my prayers, and I'm just so grateful for the work that you do.